Hi, my name is Miss Sanders, and I am the Burncoat Middle School librarian. This is Winnie, my special assistant. um, we are here to talk to you today because Miss O'Donnell mentioned that you're participating in an editorial competition for the New York Times, and that sounds amazing. My part-time job is as a freelance writer, which means that I can pick and choose which publications I want to write for based on how much money they offer me or how interested I am in a particular story. So you can find my work in the Telegram Gazette, Worcester Magazine, Worcester Business Journal, Edible Boston, and a whole bunch of other places. I really like to write about food, women's issues, and education. Those are my main areas. So what makes an editorial? Well, I have a standing column in the Worcester Magazine every single week, and it's my favorite thing to write because I'm allowed to express my opinion, right? Usually when we hear editorial, you hear the term op-ed, opinion editorial, and I like to be able to make my own evaluations and judgments. One thing I guess I'll say right off the bat is that when you take a risk by expressing your opinion, you better believe that people are going to agree or disagree, especially if you write about someone in particular or a team or an organization. If you're critical, they're going to respond. And so you always have to be thinking about your counter argument and how you're going to deal with that criticism, because sometimes it can be hard. There are certain articles where I know, like, I'm not going to read the comments on this one because I know they're going to be mean and they're not going to make me feel productive feelings. You know what I mean? I want to keep expressing my voice, and so you kind of have to know where to draw the line, right? And that's why I picked 3 areas to specialize in, 3 things that I do feel super confident about my knowledge in, and I feel free to express my opinion on. So how did I become a writer? Well, my path was not a traditional one. I grew up in Worcester, and without getting too personal, I guess the metric I always use is that we moved 12 times before I graduated high school. So there were a lot of inconsistencies in my life. The most consistent thing was swimming. I was a swimmer, and I was recruited to go to college for swimming. And I was living in New York City. I got my teaching degree. And when I graduated and got my first job as a teacher, I was so shocked to find that for the first time in my life, I didn't have a pool to swim in. And I went to go and try and join the local pool, and it was so expensive, I couldn't afford it on my first year teacher salary. So I offered to make them a trade. I told them, I'd be happy to write your blog for you. I'm an English teacher, in exchange for some free pool time. And that's how I got going. My first blog was very silly. It was called Aqua Girl, and a bunch of the members of the fitness club, they started to take notice. One of them was a publisher, and he offered me an opportunity to write for my first magazine, Foodies of New England. And that's really how I got started. Once I had a few pieces out, people started to approach me, and I became more confident in pitching editors my ideas. And I now write for a whole bunch of different publications. I would say the most difficult reporting I've ever done is about sexual assault on college campuses, mostly because I was so concerned about getting my sources right, making all of the people that I had spoken to feel heard and validated, but also covering all my legal bases. I had to work with a number of attorneys to make sure that what we were reporting was accurate. I initially turned that assignment down. I told my editor, I don't feel qualified to write something like this. You know, usually I write about food. I'm not used to writing such a news-heavy investigative story. And he said, how the heck do you think you get experience? Write the story. And I did. It's some of the proudest work I've ever done. So take risks, be careful, do your research, and speak your mind. That's what people want to hear. The best compliment I ever get is when I interview somebody and they read back the article and they go, wow, you really captured my voice. This really sounds like me. So I think that's what you're going for. Please feel free to shoot me an email with any questions. I love to talk about writing. Have a great day, guys.